Good Sunday afternoon coming to you from the Illegal Shift Studios. It is another special edition of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. As I open that beer, it occurs to me that we really didn't think this through very well. Because here we are on Sunday afternoon, Sunday at the Masters, and we're like a couple of monkeys fucking a football. And in the meantime, we're missing the drama of the back nine at Augusta National.
Well, that's true. That is true.
We didn't think it through.
No, I thought it through because
did?
I wasn't able to putt in the tournament yesterday, so I didn't give a shit at this point anymore. And
do we know who won?
The podcast must go on.
I've not been updated on what happened at Clough
-2 won. I don't know who it is.
You don't know who it was?
-2.
What there was a name attached to that?
I don't know who it is. And let's not say a couple monkeys fucking a football because I was fucking prepared last night at 8 p.m. This show was already established and out on YouTube.
No, I'm just saying it's a euphemism.
Euphemism.
It's a euphemism.
But I have
a couple of guys, a couple of idiots jabbering away while the Masters is going on.
I have the Masters scoreboard up.
I see that.
Scotty Scheffler is still at -8 through 12. Closest to him, -5. So there you go. There's your update.
Is that Morikawa or Homa?
That is Homa.
Homa. Okay.
So yeah. So I have it here. We're just not physically watching it. But I agree. But let's not say a couple monkeys fucking a football. It's you fucking a football because you forgot your cell phone at home. In the drive.
I did.
I was driveway.
I was in the driveway and I was like, damn it, I don't have my cell phone. And I can't log on to my email on my computer unless I have my cell phone. It's called two-factor verification.
I'm Jason Keefer. Glad to be here. Let me go ahead and crack that real quick. Happy Sunday, as Dano said. We have a special guest.
Yeah.
That we're gonna bring in. Some of you fuckos may know him. And if you don't, you should. Bosco, what's up, my man?
What's going on, everybody?
How you doing, brother?
Let me join this tradition.
Been a while.
Yes, sir. It's been a little bit.
It's good to see
you.
We
got different surroundings this time.
Looking good, my man.
Hang on. Ready?
Can you play that? A boy. That a boy.
I even do you one better.
Oh, look, he's got the Cody holder and everything. I love it.
A man after our own hearts. Can you play that guitar behind you?
Yes.
All right, good. All right.
Yes. I played.
We might get to that point where we need a little musical interlude.
If you ask, there's a story about this. Well, not that guitar, but there's another one right here that's just out of view. When my wife and I were dating, we went to a wedding and she got me hammered. I think on purpose.
Did she
probably trying to take it?
Did you get roofied?
I think she was trying, but I'm a pro.
Yeah, bro.
Even though I'm hammered, I can still have my wherewithal in my brain. So she was trying to ask me when I was going to propose, and I just strummed this whole thing out and told her she wasn't supposed to know yet. And so it's become this whole thing for the last 8 years. So
I love it. Your fucking giggle is contagious. I just want you to know that. Every time I talk to you, I fucking laugh, and we could be talking about some sad bullshit. You giggle, and it's done. It's over. So, anybody that doesn't know Bosco, you need to.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm live right here at the Forever Road Podcast Studios.
Yes, sir.
So there's my plug. Shameless
there you go.
Plug.
Oh, we're gonna plug the shit out of your podcast throughout this whole shit show that we call the One More and I'm Out of Here. We've got fucking Dano coming in like you just left the Arnold Schwarzenegger Iron Man competition. You had to put a sweatshirt on because it's cold in here.
It is cold in here.
But I heard you say earlier y'all needed
yard work today, and I had
yard work. It's
the first
Sunday. You don't do anything on Sundays.
You don't do anything on Sundays?
No.
That's nice.
Not unless it's like absolutely have to do. I don't turn wrenches. I don't do anything on Sunday.
Well, that's where I was. I pretty much had to because I got a very busy week ahead. Had shit going on all day yesterday and last night, so today was my only opportunity. So I did yard work, and now here I am. Actually, I filed my taxes today, so I did that first.
You're getting ready. Did you sprinkle some sand on your butthole?
I was getting it. I might as well have.
Yeah.
If I had a Glock at home, I probably would have taken a dirt nap. Put that fucking thing in my mouth.
Bosco, move your phone. If you got a phone close to you, move it. Dan, move your phone.
My phone?
Or there's interference or something. I could hear it. So I was definitely not nearly as productive. Had a celebration of life for a very close friend of ours from the varsity, Brad Bibas, who had many bouts of just bad shit, honestly. I mean, just the easiest way to put it. But diagnosed with cancer 20 years ago and died multiple times within that 20 years. But we finally had his celebration of life, and it was awesome. A lot of good stories, a lot of good people around. So I do want to throw up take a drink for Brad Bibas, R.I.P. Gone but not forgotten. Always good to to hang out with people. So.
Here.
Rest easy, Brad.
But yeah, so Jill was very, very productive and started cleaning out the garage. I didn't tell her to. She did it on her own. So,
nice.
So nice. Don't even say that like I made her do that, because I did not.
No, I would never say that.
No, but she was very productive today. Way more productive.
What if I said I didn't notice when I walked in?
Oh, then you're gonna have to deal with that after when we're done with this. Or she might come down the steps and barge in the door.
All right.
And I encourage her to do so, because that would.
Well, if you were, I wonder what kind of chief you were if you kind of walked in the room and what are y'all sitting around for? And they're cleaning to be done, and guys snap to it, Because boss,
she's a chief, and I don't say anything.
Yeah,
I cower down, and you're right. You're right.
Yes, ma'am.
Because I'm smart. But so very productive Anderson Township area around us, apparently, between Jill and Dan. My
front yard looks great, so
I'm sure I'm happy with that. I'm sure it's a quarter-inch high, and it's just like it always is.
It is very short. Yes. It is. Absolutely.
Looks like green carpet going across there.
He tries to make it like the Masters.
It looks like a golf course fairway. That's all I care about.
And he wonders why it goes brown. But
it doesn't go brown, and my grass is as green as your grass.
That's okay. So we are. I don't know what this interference is, and it's driving me absolutely fucking batshit crazy.
I have no idea.
I have no idea either.
It's probably me going.
No, it's you talking. I think that's the interference.
So that's my dentures bumping into each other.
So obviously, we are very late to the party because O.J. Simpson decided to die the day after we podcasted.
I didn't shed a tear.
So we have the juice. We have the juice behind us. Now, ironically, this picture was hung up probably, my guess is 3 weeks ago-ish?
About that.
Is when I got that.
Yeah.
And ironically, then he ends up passing away. So
Do you feel somewhat responsible?
No, absolutely not, because it just made the price of that picture fucking go up. The price of that picture has now gone up now that he's fucking dead. But my question to you, Dan, is, and it's going to be to Bosco after this, but Dan, where were you when the OJ chase was happening?
When the OJ chase was happening, I was on the very first golf trip that I had ever taken. My buddy Jack Krutka invited me to go to Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And it was a regular thing that he did. I think there was his dad. I think he had a dad and an uncle and some of their buddies. And he says, hey, we're going to Elizabethtown, Kentucky. And we're going to be there. I think it was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday deal. And so we got there that day and we played golf. And I think we had like 6 guys in one condo and 7 guys in another condo. And we played golf, and Elizabethtown, Kentucky is in a dry county.
Yep.
So we were going to go out that night and, go, get some food, get something to drink, stuff like that. And we're all getting ready to go. And the slow speed chase and cable TV was very new at that time. CNN had not really been around all that long at that time. And I don't think Fox News had existed yet. But CNN is on, and they're covering this chase. And like, this is O.J. Simpson in this white Bronco, driving the highways of L.A. And we sat there and we watched that thing for as long as it was on. So that's why I remember that as clear as a bell. We're all kind of standing around, like some guys are coming out of the shower, with towels on, they're toweling off, drying off, all that kind of shit. And, we're all getting ready to go out. But we all stopped and just stared dumbfounded at O.J. Simpson in this Bronco. We thought he was going to kill himself that night.
Yeah.
And, of course, he wound up not doing that. But, I mean, you got to remember, and this is the thing I talked about on the radio a couple of times, is that this guy was at a celebrity level, and this is for a generation that's maybe a generation or two generations younger than me or even Jason. The celebrity that he had at that time was equal to like a Michael Jordan type celebrity or a Magic Johnson or a Tiger Woods. I mean, just imagine how insanely popular and the kind of adoration those guys get. Well, that was O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, he was Bob Costas all the time.
Back in his day, man, and when he was at that level, he played on Buffalo Bills football teams that were not good. I mean, they would go, 2-14 or 2-12. I think they only played 14 games back then for the most part. But I mean, those teams sucked, but yet they were on TV all the time. And this wasn't where you had the NFL Network and ESPN carrying games and all this. You had a choice of maybe 2 or 3 games over the course of a weekend. But OJ and the Bills were always on because people wanted to see that guy play football. That's how much that guy moved the needle back in the day. So to have him accused of these heinous, brutal murders was just such a shock to the system. And it was so hard to believe that OJ, who had this great personality. I mean, we were kids. I mean, the commercials he did, were the commercials where he was running through the airports?
Hertz?
Yeah.
The Hertz commercials.
So when we were kids,
I remember those.
He's jumping over people's luggage and shit. Whenever we were a kid and we had a chance to jump over something, we jump over something in midair. We go, O.J. Simpson. That's what we did when we were kids. Everybody did.
All right, so back to the original question.
Okay.
You were in Elizabethtown, Kentucky.
That's where I was. I was watching the slow speed.
See, he's like the dog from Christmas Vacation, Snots. It's just better to let him go, Clark. Just let him finish.
Well, I'm just saying that was my memory, and I try to impress on people that because there's a whole generation of young people who are watching this
that have no idea,
saying why is this guy's getting so much coverage? There's a dude who played football back in the 70s. Okay, he's 76 years old. He's dead now, but they don't understand why that story got the coverage that it did over the last 3 or 4 days.
It was called the crime or the trial of the century.
Yeah.
And that's why this piece here, that's why I think it's so fucking cool, because you can't see it past Dan's shoulder, but I think I've said it before, but this is the subpoena from the guy that took this picture, who was in the trial, 3 days on the stand, because he took this picture. And we've had him on the podcast. Dan had him on his radio show. And I just think it's just such a neat piece, but it's huge. I mean, that was a huge part of, I remember, I'm going to go to Bosco first, but Bosco, where were you when you saw the OJ chase?
I actually had to look that up. I remember watching it while it was going on, but it was, the beginning summer.
I don't even know how old you are. You look 85, but I'm not exactly sure how old you are.
Aren't you a little older than me, Ash?
Probably.
It was the beginning summer of '94, and I can remember seeing it on TV.
You were 10 years old.
I was 14. To you, probably 10, yeah, but But I can,
You look like a 14-year-old.
yeah. But I can remember watching it on TV and just going, well, okay. And then, I mean, I grew up playing football and knowing all the player stats and all that other stuff, and I just kind of lost interest in it as I grew older. But yeah, that was a hectic trial. But I remember watching that whole chase and just wondering if they were going to catch him.
So
that's where I was. It was down here. Everybody gets out of school like right at the beginning of June or at the end of May, whatever. And so we were already out, and I was either sitting at home or sitting in my aunt's house somewhere, watching TV with my feet stinking.
So you're what? You're what? 40? Are you 43?
Yeah, I'll be 44 in July.
Well, happy early birthday. I'm 44, and the same thing though. I remember coming home Sunday. It was a Sunday night. I was out hanging with my buddies. Come home, riding my bike, walk in the garage, and my parents and their friends are sitting around the TV. I mean, just glued to it. And I'm like, what's going on? And they're like, O.J. Simpson's running from the cops. And I remember this specifically going, well, it doesn't look like he's running because the car's not going very fast. You had the whole swath of LAPD, black and whites behind him. So with this, and again, I know we're late to the party. This happened Thursday, but here we are on Sunday. But I do have something that I do want to play. I found this and I found it very, very amusing. I just got to find it. Sit back and listen. And we're going to do an ad read here in a little bit with our buddy Dan Varner. But Dan Varner played this song last night, and I started giggling because I had it queued up for today's show. But enjoy.
If you haven't heard of JDIED, got off SCOTTFREE. Well, we on this NICOLE, 'cause this morning, JDIED. Yeah. He turned into a killer back in June of 94 with 20 mile an hour and an old white Ford. He never got convicted even though he'd been accused. Everybody remembers when the juice got loose. Now he really got away with it 'cause he DIED. He even wrote us a book about being a killing SOB. Yeah, nobody even talks about our ONLD. And now they're all together 'cause JDIED. I said, hey!
I saw that video the other day.
Wow.
And I've never laughed so fucking hard in my entire life.
And Varner already picked that up and played it?
Well, no, he played Trouble
Oh, okay.
last night. Travis
I
Tritt.
smell TROUBLE.
So he was playing it last night, and Jill and I, when we were watching Varner play, I started giggling because I already had that queued up because I saw it. I was like, the guy's good, musically, but then to be able to just rewrite a fucking song. And
awesome hair.
And awesome hair. I'm going to straight up say that there's a special place in hell for this fucking guy. I don't give a fuck. He may get redeemed and whatever. I'm not a religious dude, but all the extra banter after the fact, him getting arrested in Las Vegas for stealing his own shit back, the quote unquote robbery or whatever they called it, whatever they charged him with. It's time. It was time.
Yeah, I read a little bit about that the other day. And when he did that strong-armed robbery in Las Vegas, trying to get back his memorabilia, the guys
strong-arm robbery, that's what it was.
The guys he went in there with, the article I read said he had just met those guys. I thought this was part of his crew that he'd been hanging out with, bumping around Vegas, doing whatever they do, playing golf, gambling, whatever. But they said he had just met these guys like an hour before and convinced. I mean, this goes back to part of what made OJ special because he had such a great personality. He's one of those guys that everybody wants to be around. Great smile, great attitude. And he was able to convince these guys, hey, these guys stole my shit. Let's go up to the 12th or 11th floor and bust down their door and get my shit back. And they're like, yeah, let's go.
Let's
go. We're rolling with OJ, man. We're going to go fuck these guys up. And OJ winds up, what did he do? 9 or 6 years in prison for that? I mean, for God's sake.
You sent me this video right as we were starting. I'm going to play it. I have no idea.
Okay, well, this was they were talking about this on CNN after OJ died, obviously, and this gal who is an attorney was asked sort of to sum up, because in the aftermath of OJ being found not guilty, then there was a huge segment of the black community that just lost their minds.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're absolutely crazy about the whole thing. And she gives her analysis on why they acted the way they did.
But it was so racially charged because of what had happened just before with Rodney King, but also just how Black Americans feel about policing. It's not like O.J. Simpson was the leader of the civil rights movement of his era. You know, he wasn't a social justice leader, but he represented something for the Black community in that moment, in that trial.
He hung out with more whites than he did blacks.
Who had been killed. Yeah. And the history around how Black people have been persecuted during slavery. There was just so many layers. And I guess I would just close with this, is that there was racial tension then, there is racial tension now. It might not be the backdrop of the Trump campaign, but until this country is ready to actually have an honest conversation about the racial dynamics from our origin story till today, we will always have moments like O.J. Simpson that manifest, and our country will always be divided if we don't actually deal with the issue of race.
So there she is, dropping the race card, saying that O.J. Simpson represented the Black community because there was a couple of white people that got killed.
Ashley Allison is a fucktard. That is what I'm going to say.
That is her name, is Ashley Allison. I mean, what a piece of crap. And then she goes on to go to that old crutch that you always hear. Well, we need to have an honest conversation about race in this country. Does anyone, after listening to that, does anyone think for 1 second that you're going to have an honest conversation with her about race in this country?
This is exactly why Joe and I get along, and we live together and love each other. Is hot take: Ashley Allison is an idiot. Amazing, weird. What a fucktard.
But the thing is, those people are on CNN. They get paid millions of dollars to be there. Not one person challenges what she says there.
Right.
They're like bobbleheads. Like,
and what the fuck does O.J. Simpson dying have anything to do with Trump?
Nothing.
Exactly.
But they want to get everything that is wrong in this country. They want to try to make it his fault, or he had something to do with it somehow. I was reading last night where they were saying the attacks, Iran attacking Israel last night, sending all those drones and shit over. They're trying to say that was Trump's fault.
Well, of course it was.
I mean, for God's sake.
Because he didn't pay taxes.
This guy's been Biden has been in office for 3 fucking years now. It is not Trump's fault.
Oh,
when Trump was in charge.
Bosco, you're on a good one because Dan's in Iran.
There was no war. Now there's war. But I'm just saying, that gal from CNN. I mean, look, this is, I make the point all the time that CNN,
you make a bunch of points,
MSNBC, all these liberal news outlets, they have such contempt for their viewers that they think so little of them that this is the kind of analysis that they provide, and they expect people to listen to. And that's a problem. People do listen to this and they believe it, and they think there's some sort of truth to it, or what they're saying has some kind of meaning. And it's so much crap. It's so much garbage.
Well,
and this is the kind of stuff they put out all the time.
People choose to listen to what they want to listen to and don't want to listen to anything else in the peripheral.
Yeah.
Oscar, your takes.
My opinion about that is as far as CNN goes, is, there's people that they just have to live in misery. So they have to feed off of misery, whether the music, television shows, news, they got to watch that. So they just want to stay in that miserable zone. And if they deviate from that, then they don't know what to do with themselves. So they just stay glued, and that's what they keep going back. Even though they get zapped every time and they're not really learning anything. They just continue to do the same thing. What's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing
Mhm.
over and over again.
And expecting
Exactly.
a different result.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's a continuous cycle. I mean, we're just going to get the same stories over and over again. Somebody else to blame, not taking any, not taking any responsibility for their own actions. But I don't like CNN because of they hire these people who
You
want
can
to get
say
out there on a national.
You can say it, retards. They hire retards.
Yeah. They hire the retards who just want to get out there on TV and then put
words in Bosco's mouth.
I'll say it. Fuck it. I don't care if we get banned. We get banned. Fuck it. At this point, I don't care.
I mean, what are they going to do? Cancel us? But that's my whole thing about all of that. It's always somebody else's fault. It's like, really, dude.
And to Dan's point, and we'll move on, but yeah, nobody questions. Nobody questions when stupid rhetoric like that comes out. Nobody questions it, and that's what boggles the shit out of me and bothers the shit out of me. Is okay, you can have your opinion. I'm good. I'll listen to it. And just like ironically, I was gonna say his name, but he just commented. But like, Cincy 513 will throw stuff to us all the time. We're good with it. We don't agree. We know we don't agree. And that's all right. But you have to understand. You have to have an understanding on both sides. So, and of course, Andrew Pappas is in the chats. I miss Pappas. We knew you did because you love you. But it's just it's frustrating because you have this dumb bitch who wants to throw the OJ chase, OJ dying, the whole OJ thing is Trump's fault. Fuck off. That's so stupid that you even bring Trump's name into it. We're poking some fun at the fact that OJ's passed, and that sucks for his family because I'm sure they loved him, but he was part of a fucking huge deal in everybody's life that is our age or older. So I don't feel bad about it. Guess what? Cancer got him. He couldn't outrun cancer.
Cannot, no.
That Bronco should have went a little bit faster, I guess.
Father Time is undefeated, unscored upon.
But it's one of those things
in a museum somewhere.
But when you you're grabbing a political candidate and throwing him into this.
Yeah.
You didn't see that. Well, Joe Biden could have saved him. You didn't hear any of that. It's Trump killed him.
Yeah.
I'm being sarcastic, Cincy 513. Settle down. I know you're going to fucking jump off here in a second. But no, it's just there's no reason for that portion of it. I'm glad you actually did send me that. I got frustrated with you right before the show because it was a last minute addition. But it's just so dumb.
It is.
Yeah, y'all need marriage counseling, dude.
Oh, we totally do. We totally do. I'm not even sure the counselor might need fucking counseling after they fucking deal with us.
After that, yeah.
But
yeah,
the juice is gone. I'm still keeping the picture up though because I love the fucking picture. But yeah, again, late to the party.
So this picture is proof positive that the gloves fit because he's rocking the gloves
very well.
Picture.
They fit very well.
Proof positive.
I have never seen leather shrink. So
and the shoes are there. So whatever. You
are those the same shoes?
Yeah, those are the Bruno Malley shoes.
How about that?
Yeah, you had them on your show.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't ask him about the shoes. I asked about the gloves.
Yeah, same shoes.
I guess those are really nice shoes.
Apparently,
way
more than I can afford.
Probably cost more than my truck.
All right, so we're gonna go now. All right, so Bosco, I want to get your takes on the whole Israeli drone attacks. We'll start with you. You wanted to come on? You're in.
Oh, I didn't even look that part up. I just saw the highlights from the show, and I was like, okay, cool. I
So-
don't. Go ahead.
Israel got smoked supposedly by, what was it, 300 drones / missiles, a mixture of drones and missiles.
Yeah, but the vast majority were shot down.
But they caught them.
Yeah.
So last night when I made this show, when I said is World War III coming, it was the attacks were actually happening, breaking. So I made the title of that. So Israel thwarted most of those. I don't know if what hit ground and any damage that was done.
What was it? Their gold dome system that they have? Isn't that what they call it? The gold dome?
Yeah, the Iron Dome.
Iron
Dome.
Yeah.
The Iron Dome system.
So the article that I read today, because I knew obviously the news cycle was going to change. So I looked at it today, and they were obviously able to thwart most of those attacks. My question is, especially after knowing that there wasn't a whole lot of damage and they were able to protect themselves, where are we going? Where are we going from here? Does another one come? Another attack? And the White House had said that we are not going to get involved. Do you think honestly that we're not going to get involved?
Well,
we get involved in fucking everybody else's wars as long as I've been alive.
According to what I was watching this morning on Fox News, they were saying that there were fighter jets. Israel or Iran told Israel that this was going to happen. So they knew that this was going to happen. Israel had fighter jets in the air prepared for them to launch whatever they were going to launch at Israel. I am also told that by watching Fox News this morning that there were American pilots who were also in the air, and they were shooting down some of these drones, so that not only was the Iron Dome being used to shoot down some of these incoming ordnance, there were fighter pilots who were in the air shooting stuff down as well. So are Americans involved? Yes, Americans are involved in this. And that's what a lot of the concern was last night and early this morning. But I'm reading a piece from a guy I've had on my radio show a number of times. His name is Daniel Greenfield. He writes for a website called Front Page Magazine that's run by David Horowitz. And he is saying that this attack by Iran last night was really just for the cameras. And he's saying that this attack, if they were serious and they really wanted to do damage to Israel, then they would have used Hezbollah. They would have used the Houthis. They would have used whatever proxies they have in the area to combine their forces and attack. So he's saying that this is not over, but this was meant to respond to that IRGC general who was killed when Israel hit Damascus. I guess, what was it, a week or 10 days ago, something like that. So I guess this was more of a face-saving move for Iran to do this. But it's not over. It's not over. And the danger is still there. I think that America could get deeper into this, and this escalating into something that winds up getting out of control. That possibility is still very much there as well.
Yeah.
That's my analysis.
Bosco, what do you think?
My view, not analysis, but I guess, just following what little I do on the world events, because I got enough going on at home.
You got enough shit.
I mean, I do. I pay attention to what's going on in Israel because it's, essentially that's our ally. Those are supposed to be our people. I don't think we need to get involved. I think that, ultimately it's like two brothers, they just keep at each other, and finally just let them fight. Let them fight it out.
Yep.
Just let them fight it out. Stand to the side and go, okay, all right, now is that enough? Y'all had enough? But they've been fighting over there for years. Who are we to go over there? And my honest opinion, who are we to go over here and tell, like Biden said, oh, I'm going to go over here, and me and Benjamin we're going to have some words. I'm like, dude, you're going to go to another man's house and tell him what he can and cannot do, regardless of allies. How bad the Israelis train. I mean, the kids get out of school and they start training. 2 years mandatory. So my opinion is let them fight it out. Step back, let them fight it out. Now they're our allies, and we don't want. It's like your friend getting his ass whooped. You don't want to see your buddy get his ass tore up unless it's one-on-one. Now other people start messing around in there. Then hey, you jump in, I jump in. It's it's whatever. But wasting money.
Sometimes your buddy needs to get his ass tore up, though.
Right. Well, that's a good point too. I mean, it'll humble him, but
right.
Wasting money that our country does not have to go help another country. Now, this kind of I don't mean to bring up Ukraine. We don't got to go down that rabbit hole, but wasting money that our country doesn't have to go help someone else is dumb. To be involved in somebody else's actions. They've been fighting over there for how long?
Thousands of years.
Yeah.
You're never going to stop it. I've always said when that fighting stops in the Middle East, no matter who it's amongst, that fighting stops, the fucking world's coming to a fucking end because they have been fighting for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And guess what? The United States of America is not the lifeguard of the pool of the world. We don't need to fucking be involved in fucking everything.
I don't know. When it comes to what's going on with Israel and the Palestinian people and the two-state solution and all that crap, I always just go back to, I remember years ago, Netanyahu gave a speech and he boiled it down to this. He said, if our enemies, if the Palestinians or the terrorists, he said, if they were to lay down their weapons, there would be peace. He said, if Israel was to lay down its weapons, then there would be no Israel.
Yep.
And that is a fundamental truth of that situation with Israel and all the countries that surround it. And I always sort of fall back on that position. And Israel right now is in a fight for its very survival. And for Joe Biden and Anthony Blinken to go over there and tell them that they need to cool their jets, they need to sue for peace, they need to find a diplomatic solution to end this is an absolute disgrace. And I think an abandonment of the way we should stand by this ally in the Middle East. So it's disgraceful that Biden engages in this, and it's his weakness. It's the weakness of U.S. policy and the money that has been shipped over by the billions of dollars to Iran that has allowed them to carry out the attacks of October 7th, and then what we saw last night and what's to come in the future.
Yeah, and I felt that inflation that he had going on when I went to the grocery store earlier this morning. We're sending our money now. Now we're paying for it.
That's no fun. That's no fun at all.
But no, I mean, I can remember, like you said, if what Netanyahu said a couple years ago, you can almost say that same thing about the United States. If the United States citizens laid down their gun, there would be no United States.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen multiple news reports of us mobilizing troops, send them over in that direction, not necessarily engaging, but just as we normally do. They go and they posture, and they'll posture off the coast or wherever. And these poor guys that are getting deployed, getting called up and saying, "Hey, guess what? Whether you're a guardsman or whether you're full-fledged, hey, you're getting ready to go." And hopefully they just go and sit out in the ocean and wait, and hopefully nothing happens. They come home. But
kind of like being in law enforcement, what they do is a show of force.
yeah,
I mean, we're right here.
Yeah, we're watching. We're seeing what the fuck you fucktards are doing. And if we have to get involved, we will. But it's just, I mean, I'm glad for that there wasn't as much destruction as what it appeared, the way it sounded yesterday, of what it could have been, and that Israeli forces were able to, knock all that shit down. But I mean, we're fucking close. Like, we are teetering on the edge, in my opinion. We're teetering on the edge of some really, really bad shit.
Well, that's just it. Even though this display might have been for the cameras or to save face or whatever, there's no guarantees that when they do something like this, that it doesn't get out of control. That one of those rockets goes, gets through and hits a sensitive target or kills a bunch of civilians. Or I mean, there's every time you launch one of those things, you have the possibility that something is going to go extremely fucking wrong.
Yeah.
And could touch off something bigger and a hell of a lot worse than what's going on. I think we're at the point now where we can look at the events of last night and say that didn't happen this time. But again, there's no guarantee.
What happens tonight?
Yeah. There's no guarantee that the next time it happens, it breaks down the same way.
So I saw Cincy's comment. I almost wanted to comment on that comment, but I don't.
Which one? That one?
That one. But
really?
I don't
comment.
I don't know, man. I mean, you're looking at people who have, much like the Muslims, they have faith way stronger than anything I've ever seen here in the United States. Now, I've never been to Israel, but I've known some Jewish people. I have Jewish ancestry myself. So there's a little kindred spirit there, but you're talking about a people who believe beyond all shadow of a doubt that this area is a promised land and that was given to them by God. Whether you believe it or not, agree to it or not, that's what they believe. Just like you believe that your front yard needs to be cut to a certain length. That's your belief. That's your house. For us to go tell them, hey, y'all don't need to be doing this or don't need to be doing that, that's none of our business. But that's just that's as far as I'm gonna get with it. I don't get into religious battle with people. I know what I believe, and
well, I was gonna say, I thought you were a rabbi. You look like a rabbi. I thought you were a rabbi. I knew you had Jewish in you.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's the nose. Is that what it is?
Or the beard, and
he mistake that cap for a yarmulke.
And the ear cams look like the swirlies.
I need some little curlies laying down. That's right.
Boss, so lighten it up a little bit. We're gonna lighten it up just
okay.
So I saw this article yesterday too that Joe Burrow, our Cincinnati Bengals quarterback, this article doesn't do justice, and I'm going to show the headline. It doesn't do it justice, but last year he actually made the statement in a game that like he's all about taunting. He's all about playing the game,
talking shit.
Yeah,
that's what makes it fun.
Being competitive. So this became a big story because like he called out the NFL. Just he did it last year, but then he did it again this week. Ironically, it was when the Kelsey brothers were in town at the University of Cincinnati.
He was on their podcast, but he won't come on our podcast.
I know, fucking loser. Loser.
Like,
I mean,
those are just a couple of NFL players doing a podcast, and we're supposed to compete with them.
I mean, look at what he's missing out on. I mean, for fuck's
I know,
sakes.
I'm telling you.
But
come and look at our picture of OJ.
But he come look at a picture of OJ. That's what we have. But last year he had made the statement, and it didn't really get didn't cover a whole lot of ground. And then he said it again, and he called out the NFL, and he was like, "Look, let the guys talk. I don't give a shit if somebody sacks me." Good. This story came through. Some of the Fox don't.
Yeah.
But in here, he says if somebody, he goes, yeah, I'm pro taunting, Burrow said earlier this week. We're all grown adults that work really hard at what we do, and sometimes we'd like to show it. I'm not going to get my feelings hurt if somebody sacks me and taunts me like you made a play. I get it. Like, good for you. And that's the way it should be. Hey, I smoked your ass.
Yeah.
I got you. What I would say in return is try to do it again. And guess what? That's competitive nature. That game is a tough, hard-fought game. Now, the way the NFL is doing it now is making it to where, like we've said before, like get ready to get the flags. JJ Watt said, get ready to get the flags put on the waist belts because they're dumbing it down so much. But
because they're on the verge of getting rid of tackle football.
Yeah,
is what he's saying. Yeah.
All of the new fucking rules you can't do, and we covered it in Illegal Shift. You can't do a hip drop tackle and all this bullshit. But the fact that he went again at the NFL, I absolutely fucking love. And he's normally a low-key guy. You don't hear a bunch out of Joe Burrow.
Yeah, that's true.
So for him to like literally go at the NFL and say, let us taunt. We want it. Like the players want it. Now, great, it's his opinion, but I'm sure he didn't say that without talking to multiple others.
Well, that's something that the NFLPA is going to have to take up the next time they negotiate a contract.
Because that's it's a 15-yard fucking penalty.
Yeah, I mean that penalty is going to have to be taken away. I mean, but how do you draw the line? What kind of limits do you put on it? Who was it? Who was the receiver from? I believe the guy was from Minnesota. Caught a touchdown and then like pulls a cell phone out of his sock and act like he's going to call. He's going to call or take a selfie.
Oh, right? That was Chad Johnson.
That wasn't Chad Johnson.
Or no.
I think it was a guy from Minnesota.
I heard cell phone. Sorry.
Yeah.
Because Chad Johnson pulled the cell phone out of the fucking.
Yeah, he pulled one out of the padding there in the goalpost.
That's what I heard.
But that was a takeoff on the guy who pulled one out of his sock.
Yeah.
And did that. I mean, does something like that cross the line? Does that go too far?
See, that's excessive celebration versus taunting.
Well, but what about then? Why is it?
But that's where that line has to be drawn.
But why is it every time now that when the defense gets an interception or a turnover, they run to the opposite end zone and they go and they do their little dance and their choreographed thing in the end zone? That's not taunting.
It could be, but
I bet they get away with that.
Right.
So how can the NFL say on one hand that's okay, but if you sack the quarterback and then do a fist pump in his face, here comes the flag, personal foul, 15 yards.
Right.
Man,
Oscar, what do you
think?
I
mean, it's all part of the game. You know, if you get the better, it's like anything. If you get the better of me, just like I said earlier, my buddy's getting his ass whooped. He got his ass whooped. You know, if you got the better of me, then good on you. I mean, take it like like he said. You know, just like Joe Burrow, I believe he played LSU and he beat UGA that year when he played us. When they played us, that and so I had respect for him. I watched him. I remember that. It was 2019, and so I got respect for him. But him standing up and going, "Hey, man, it's just sports, dude. Competition? That's part of it." Football. Yeah,
we're not sitting here playing ping pong.
Good Lord. Imagine. Now, I'll tell you this. You want to talk about some cutthroat sports. Go out there to any drag strip at any Friday or Saturday night. You know, Mustangs and Camaros hooking up and running against each other, and one team gets better on the other. Oh, Lord. There's no snowflakes allowed at the drag strip. I baby. That's just part of the sport.
It was a few years ago when it seemed like every Sunday there was a fight with the NASCAR drivers, and I was thinking that this is what drives viewership. So I think NASCAR was sort of turning a blind eye to that, or giving its approval because it was getting numbers to look at their TV ratings. So I mean, I don't know if that's sort of settled down now, or they're not doing it as much. But I don't see those highlights where these guys, if they get in a wreck on the track, they wind up, when they get in the pits, they wind up duking it out. I haven't seen a whole lot of that going on with NASCAR lately.
I think I think the officials and Bill France Jr. is kind of getting everybody to calm down as far
They
as that
frown
goes.
on that whole thing kind of run its course.
I think it. Yeah, I mean, it may flare up again at some point, but hey, man, when you're putting your heart and soul and you're out there on the field, and you got to leave your feelings outside of the stadium or more or less outside of the track. Leave all that out there because it's not going to work here.
I'm doing an experiment because I just tried to comment on Cincy 513. He said, "Oh, where's it at? Shit." He said if one of us started dating Taylor Swift, our guests would improve.
Oh.
So I made the statement.
That's a good point. I can't argue with it.
She's too scrawny for me, dude.
This is kind of experimental. I said, I typed a comment. I'd rather hit my dick with a ball-peen hammer, and YouTuber just rejected it.
Wow.
Oh.
Facebook allowed it. So then I just reworded it. I'd rather hit my wiener with a hammer than date Taylor.
So you can't say dick on YouTube?
And that one went through. So hopefully we're not fucking banned. But I got a big red X on that one.
Wow.
Oh man.
So I had to do a little bit of experimenting, rewording, recraftsmanship.
That girl's ugly. I'm sorry. She is not attractive. But I'm married, so I don't care.
They can have her. They can have her, and guess what? They're gonna have a song fucking written about her.
Well, I'll tell you,
Travis will have a song.
She's like, "I'll make you famous."
She'll have a hit song, and then he'll just be sitting there going, "Oh, look, the one that Taylor let get away."
I can tell you one artist that never gets comments like that. That's our buddy Dan Varner, and he has teamed up with his buddies to make the best music of their lives. We're talking about the Varner Netherton Revival. Cincinnati's own Dan Varner. Hooking up with Nick, Brad, and Rye, and they are filling clubs and arenas from the Queen City to Nashville and all places in between. I'm talking about crowds of 10 to 10,000 jumping to their feet, having a great time. And if you have never seen a Varner Netherton show, then you are really missing out. And the great thing is, even though they play great big venues, they do small venues as well. I mean, Jason and I have been to a friend of ours' backyard, and they set up by the pool and did a show in the backyard. That's what Dan Varner does. And it's a big crowd, small crowd, doesn't matter. You can book them for your event. You can book them for your club. You can book them for a stadium size arena if that's what you want to do. All you got to do is go to varnernetherton.com, varnernetherton.com. They've been great guests and great fans of the show and great sponsors of the show. We appreciate everything they've done for us. And heck, we see him. You see him all the time. You see him a lot more than I do.
I saw him last night.
Yeah, every time I see him, it's a great time.
Saw him last night. Posted a picture on our Instagram page.
Great stuff.
Supporting one of our sponsors. We were out supporting them.
Varner Netherton Revival.
We've got another ad read here real quick, and we are very unprepared. But Engraved in USA. In business for over 25 years, engraving your business awards, promotional, employee, and customer brewery drinkware, golf outing, accessories, promotional, and recognition items. If you're a small or global company, we have the team that can design and produce the quality items to enhance your business. Call the team of Tanya, Tammy, Tim, or Rich at 513-682-2557 and say 100%.
Up. There we go.
I knew it was coming. To get the best personal touch from our friends at Engraved in USA. And our buddy Rich helps us out a shit ton.
Yeah, he does.
I know David J got his Eclipse Cup.
Beautiful.
That they made. I know Bosco was looking for one.
Mine will be here Tuesday.
A little late, but you have it. You have it.
Yeah.
I
reached out to Rich and asked him, I said, man, I've tried to put this order in for this cup and haven't heard anything. He said, oh, man, I'm sorry about that. He apologized. He's very professional.
You'll get some free shit, I promise. You just tell him what you want. You just tell him what you want, because now it's on the internet and it's live. He'll get you some Forever Road podcast cups, I promise.
I told him he didn't even owe me a thing. Just send me the cup. I'm happy.
No, but Engraved in USA, they've made a ton of our stuff for every one of our guests, so we appreciate them. But I should have pulled the video up that I made last night for our Instagram story, but the video was perfect. Them at Turfway Park, huge screen behind them. Looked awesome, sounded awesome. The video just off my phone actually sounded great.
Well, speaking of video, we probably have time for one of the 2 remaining pieces that I sent you.
Oh, hold on.
So do we want to do?
One,
you want to do that one?
2. We got 3. Oh, we can do all 3.
All right.
Nobody tells us what to do, Dan. Nobody tells us what to do.
I'm just saying. I'm just looking.
I'm the man of this house whenever my wife lets me.
Well, you know what? I'm the man of this house when the podcast is happening because I'm in control of all of it. So we can go as long as we want. You know what we should do? I'm going to throw this out there. We should try to do a 12-hour long podcast.
Oh my God.
And just rotate guests out.
12-hour marathon podcast. What do you think?
I'm going to have to definitely get up and pee if that happens.
No, we're going to get you a bucket.
No,
We'll get you a bucket.
Yeah, that's how you want to roll in your basement. Yeah,
I
I
can
can
plan that one out and run it on a Saturday. That'd be cool.
We'll put piss patties in it so
There
it
you
smells good.
All right.
All right. So which
Have
one
a
do you
litter
want to
box
start?
for Dan.
You want to start with that one?
You want to start with that one, or you want let's go with the track meet.
All right. Hold
So,
on.
all right.
Hold on. I got some shit.
Damn, and I had the story up about that too. But this was a track meet in Oregon, and I don't think I'm not sure if it was a state championship, but I think it was a pretty big meet, a high school meet in Oregon. And I'm not sure what event. I think it's the 400 meters. And
it's too much running. It doesn't matter how long it is. It's too much
This
running.
is a girls' event. And you're going to see one contestant way, way, way out front against some of the best competition in the state. And then take a guess on why this individual won the big race.
Episcopal, Abby Wilson.
Here she comes.
Wells, Gallagher, McDaniel, in lane 2. Gallagher later on.
Lane 2, Gallagher.
Knees, great drive.
Look at that. Look at that form. Look at that technique. Blowing the field away by 1,
Gallagher,
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6, 7 seconds. Which in track is a fucking eternity.
It's an eternity.
No.
Bosco, what do you think the chances are that was a dude running against a bunch of girls?
Looked like it was very high chances. It made me tired, exhausted watching it.
This is so ridiculous. I mean, this whole thing with guys pretending to be girls and competing against girls. I mean, look at all those girls. All those girls, they had no chance against that guy. Absolutely none. And okay, fine. The guy won the race. Congratulations to you. You know, you're a guy, you know, masquerading as a girl. You won. You got your medal. You got your ribbon. You got whatever you got. But for God's sake, I mean, how are those girls supposed to compete against that? It's ridiculous. And I always fall back. I had a comment on my Twitter feed a week or so ago, and the person said, well, what's the point of women's sports if men can't participate?
Then it's not considered women's sports.
That's what I'm saying.
Jill Billy 007 said he was high heels for sure.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
He could have carried his fucking grandma and still fucking beat that.
That's ridiculous.
All right, let's go to your next.
Not my grandma. Anyway.
All right.
Oh my God. You shut your mouth, sir.
Bosco, where do you live?
I'm in Georgia, Central Georgia. Yeah.
This next video looks like the kind of fun they love to have down in Georgia.
We'll see.
That's where I think this video came from. So you got an outbuilding there, and look at this gal. Here she goes off the trampoline.
Oh my
We're gonna let it play again. And she's laughing.
She's laughing it off.
That looked like me
right
falling
now.
on Chris's boat.
Oh my God!
You didn't laugh it off. Though.
I did not laugh at all. She's more of a man than I am.
I mean,
I guess it's kind of an oxymoron. She's more of a man than I am.
that's a Georgia girl right there, buddy. She
Well,
takes that kind of hit and is able to laugh it off. She's like, "Give me a beer."
Old girl got smoked.
Oh my God.
Old girl got smoked.
For real.
You set me
But
that.
really, she didn't even hit her head or face. If you watch it again, just watch her. The top
It's more of
half,
her ass.
she just yeah.
She hit more of her
Well,
ass.
she's
when
feeling
she-
it though.
she-
Boom.
oh,
Oh,
fuck.
my God. Bosco, you got to set up
Wow.
like that in your backyard, don't you?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe we pegged it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Oh,
You sent
for
me that.
God's
I had
sake.
the volume up and I was like, holy shit. All right. So we
I
got
told my
another
wife
vi-
about the other day when you showed the video of that electric car blowing up,
Jesus.
and we went to buy Buc-ee's, and I came around the fuel islands. I came around the long way, and there along the thing, like 6 or 7 EV vehicles. I was like, "Yeah, we need to hurry up and get out of here. One of those might explode." And she looked at me and said, "What?"
It could happen.
And I did see. That's the first time I ever seen a. Was that the electric truck or the what do they call it? That weird pickup truck that they had.
Oh,
I saw one of those.
Rivian.
Yeah, the Rivian. Yeah.
We actually
So-
we were driving a couple weeks ago. Was it you and I? No, I think it was me and Kevin. He had never seen one. We were going down to see Rob.
I saw one today. Yeah.
weirdest looking fucking, and it's not even, I don't even call it a truck. So Bosco, take that out of your vernacular. That's not a truck.
I said they call it a truck.
They. All right. That's fair.
They.
I'll give you that.
If I didn't,
Joe
I'm
Billy
correcting
said,
myself now.
Joe Billy said, Ashley's nursing that face plant like a champ.
Yeah, really.
All right. And then we got one more video. Is this the you got the Ben Carson video ready to go?
Yeah. So I get this email from Dan. He was like, hey, this reminds me of something you said to me yesterday or the other day. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's pretty good though.
So I will set it up a little bit give a quick Rob update before we play this. He Rob's like slowly getting there. Like he's there mentally. He understands, he hears, he just can't exude like what he wants to say. And then one day he's great, one day he's a complete and utter asshole. And that's what we're dealing with. But he's definitely making strides in a forward direction. But when Dan sent this to me, I didn't quite understand. I thought he was just being kind of a smart ass because I do just throw shit at Dan.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Ad nauseum. But it made sense. It made sense after I watched it. But he sent me this, and it was actually pretty interesting. It's towards the end.
Yeah. Pay attention to the very beginning of this too.
Let me do that.
Here we go.
I hate when it's not.
Take your index finger and touch that card right there. Now,
Boom.
I know what it took for you to do that. The sound waves had to leave my lips, travel to the air, enter your external auditory mediums, travel down to your tympanic membrane, set up a vibratory forces, travel across the oscillus of the middle ear to the oval and round with a set up a vibratory force. Distorted the microcilia, converting mechanical energy to electrical energy, travel across the cochlear nerve to the cochlear nucleus at the pontomedullary junction, from there to the superior olivary nucleus, ascending bilaterally up the brainstem to the lateral meniscus to the inferior colliculus and the medial geniculate nuclei, across the thalamic radiations to the posterior temporal lobes, begin the auditory process, and from there to the frontal lobe. Down the track to retrieve the memory from the meta-hippocampal structures of the memory bodies, back to the frontal lobes to start the motor response at the bed cell level, coming down the cortical spinal tract across the internal capsule, into the cerebral peduncle, and extending down to the cervical medullary decussation, into the spinal cord matter, synapsing there, stimulating the nerve and the muscle. So you could point to that card.
You took the words right out of my mouth. It was on the tip of my tongue. But of course.
But my point being, we know a lot about the brain. We just don't know all there is to know about it.
So that's Ben Carson. The guy's a genius. Not only is he a brain surgeon, he's a pediatric brain surgeon. Probably one of the smartest guys to ever draw breath on the planet. But he says, look at all that stuff. He said, just in order for you to take your finger and point to a card, that whole process had happened. And then he talks about, we know all this stuff about the brain, but there's still so much we don't know. And that's what's been so frustrating for me anyway, as it relates to our buddy Rob Herking, is that this is a thing that's going on in his brain. And you've got the best minds in Cincinnati, the best medical minds looking at this. And the fact that we can't get to what's causing all this or get to the bottom of it is what you said the other day. We don't know about the brain.
Yeah. I mean, and to his point, they know a ton, but there is just the human body is just fucking crazy. Yeah. And I mean, by no means am I putting myself on any caliber of a step of a doctor, but I've been a paramedic for a long time, and I understand physiology of the body. Mm-hmm. And what's going on with him is just an absolute fucking mind fuck, for lack of a better term, in the fact that trying to figure it out. Now, once they put the shunt in, they put a shunt in his head to drain cerebral spinal fluid off of his brain because it was creating pressure in, compressing his brain. That's where we started to see, the most progress. And I mean, he's awake. I mean, I've got videos of, him saying hi to Jill and him listening to conversations and like chiming in. So like he's there. It's just, trying to get all of the synapses and everything to click together. He just can't do that yet, but he is doing way, way better than he was 3.5 weeks ago. So, but with Dan sending me that, it was interesting. Yeah. It was an interesting take.
It helps me put it in perspective when I hear a guy like that go through that whole thing and then say there's still a hell of a lot we don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, he knows that much.
Yeah, I'm hoping it's helping all of our viewers as well.
How long has Rob been? Huh?
Go ahead.
How long has Rob been out? I mean, I'm trying to remember how long it's been.
He went into the hospital January 15th. Yeah. Original episode of seizures was January 10th.
Yeah.
Right.
So
essentially the entire year so far. So you look at it from January till now.
Yeah. I whispered down into his ear, and I was like, "That's a hell of a way to get out of fucking dealing with Cincinnati winter, you fucker."
It wasn't even that bad,
and it actually wasn't that bad. Bosco, any final thoughts from you, my man? And I want you to stick around. Don't log out, but stick around when we're done. But
I mean, it was a great show. I had fun.
Plug your stuff. Plug your shit.
Oh, yeah. So I have found at foreverroadpodcast@gmail.com. If anybody emails anymore, I don't know. I don't know that they really do. I've never got a hit on any of that, but it's on Instagram. You want to send me a dick pic on my email?
Maybe.
Amazing you knew that.
He's drunk texting me the other night. He drunk texts me every once in a while, y'all. But Forever Road Podcast, Forever Road on Instagram, Facebook. I haven't gotten on the YouTubes yet. I do have a co-host, and he's in the chats. Shout out to Will Cray, Mr. Worldwide, which we recorded.
Give a brief synopsis of what your podcast, what you guys talk about. I mean, I've been a guest on and has been awesome, but for people that don't know.
Yeah, man, I appreciate that. It's basically music and automotive history and culture, and then whatever else we want to talk about. We've done a lot of kind of themes here lately. My last episode was outlaw country and just kind of running down, a bunch of names and a little bit of history on how that whole thing kicked off. And you were in one of them. And then we did a whole come back to Macon, Georgia, how Southern Rock, the birthplace of Southern Rock, essentially. So, and then I'll pull in somebody from the automotive scene somewhere. I had Eric. I don't know if y'all know this guy or anybody out there watching Motor Trend Plus. There was a show on there, and it was about drag racing, fastest cars in the Dirty South. I've had Eric on, and I'm supposed to have his son on, Yeah, and our next episode is it's all Will's idea. I'm gonna let him hold the reins. So, but yeah, follow us. I hate saying follow. I'm not leading anybody anyway. Like us, subscribe. Do all the things. But yeah, I'm having fun. I mean, just getting on here talking about what the music I love, the cars I love, and essentially the people I love.
Yeah.
All right, man.
It's a fun hobby, man. And yeah, a couple of years ago, we didn't know we were going to be doing this. So we had 3 dickheads that came up with an idea, and here we are. So, I mean, we got to meet you. We got to meet
Thanks
Will
for being
Cray.
our third dickhead today.
Oh yeah. Anytime, man. I'm always down to do this. This is great.
Yeah, so we'll need to get Dano knows some music stuff, so we'll have to get Dano on there.
Yeah. I mean, dude, you're more I think honestly, Dan, I think Rob or Jason actually sent me your number. No, Jason sent me your actual phone number by accident. I think he was trying to give me Rob's phone number. But anyway, I have your phone number.
Did you get a dick pic?
I was going to say that's where that dick pic. My wife was asking me about that the other day.
Sorry, I didn't trim up. My bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely get schedules together, and we'll do another collaboration on the Forever Road podcast. But everybody that doesn't follow Forever Road podcast, find it on all of your audio platforms. Bosco's a great dude. Will's a great dude. I haven't physically met Bosco in person, but I met Will. Had a great time, down in Clayton, North Carolina with the Failure to Stop guys. Looking forward. We're talking about potentially Bosco and I meeting up in Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm. I was just about to bring that up.
Go ahead. Do it.
In September, for hot rod guys or Mopar guys anyway, they're going to do Mo Party in September. Yep. In Bowling Green, Kentucky at Beachman Raceway. And I figured, you ride down and we'll kind of do a collab that weekend or whatever amongst seeing all the automotive stuff. So I already made plans, and
I know you sent me the dates, but send them to me again. But I'll get with Dan and see if he's available, and then we could do our little meetup.
Yeah, I mean that sounds awesome. Of course, I ain't got a truck to drive up there to show off this year. I'm hoping I'll be done with mine next year. In the process of gathering parts for it as we speak, but hopefully
you live in Georgia,
year.
you have to have at least three trucks in your front yard, right?
As a matter of fact, I do.
You got the trampoline in the backyard, trucks in the front yard, where you're ready to rock, brother.
Yeah, backyard's that way, front yard, side yard's that way, driveway's over there.
Bosco, we love you, my man.
Thanks for sitting in, brother. It was fun.
We will.
Yes, sir.
We'll talk soon. And Dan, let's give real quick.
Okay. Masters update,
because I don't know where we're at.
Last time I looked, Scotty Scheffler had a 4-stroke lead heading into the 18th hole, and it's over now. Scheffler wins it 11 under.
11 under. Holy shit!
Yeah, right. Aberg finished 7 under, and Max Homa and Morikawa and Tommy Fleetwood tied at third at 4 under par.
So let's cheers to Scotty Scheffler.
His wife's getting ready to have a baby, so congratulations to him. We
appreciate everybody tuning in, and next year, hopefully, I'll get to put in the Masters tournament. But
another green jacket.
Here we are.
It's